Okay, so right now in your notebook, you need to be writing down the vocabulary words, X, Y coordinates, the horizontal X and vertical Y address of any point on a computer screen. So this term is something you should have probably seen in math, maybe science class, the XY axis. Your bell ringer for today on the board says draw an example of an XY grid. So once you have finished writing down this definition, go to your bell ringer and I want you to draw an example of an XY grid. And I do not need numbers on it. I just want a simple XY grid. When you finish your definition right here, draw an example of an XY grid. So like this? Yeah, that's fine. Just a very simple grid. So that I know, drawing it, that you know the difference between X and Y.
You always go to X first, right?
You do. We're going to talk a lot about XY grids today. And how that might relate to code.
Are you doing it?
We are not. So if I were to make this symbol, what is this?
Or cross.
Yes, but is it X or Y?
No, that was Y.
This is what?
X.
X. So this will be
Y.
Y. One of the things that someone told me a long time ago that kind of helps you remember is Y to the sky. Because you think about Y, you go up to the sky. Y is always up. X is always horizontal.
So Y to the sky and X horizontal.
Well, as long as you remember Y to the sky, you'll know Y goes up and down. And then you know X has to go left to right. All right, so for our quiz Friday, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about exactly what you should know. You should have in your notebook, look on your vocabulary section. You should have code, event, and program. We wrote those one day because I know that's in one color in my notebook, so I had red that day. Code, event, program are 3 of the vocabulary words. The next day we did algorithm, bug, debugging, and sequencing. Those were vocab words, and this is since your last quiz. And then today's XY coordinates. So the quiz will be very similar to how it was before. You will see every one of those words, and then you'll see probably some of the stuff we have done in code. Yes.
I don't think I got a grade on my notebook quiz because I wasn't here.
You took it, and I probably have not put it in. I thought I did. Here, I'll put a note to check.
Something smells like apple juice.
It does. All right, so if you will go to Scratch, open a new tab, and if you type in SCRA, it should go ahead and fill in scratch.mit.edu.
All I had to do was SC.
SC's all you
I
had to do.
bookmarked it.
Actually, hold on. All I had to do was S.
Awesome. So once you've gone to Scratch, make sure in the top right corner you are logged in. Are you logged into our class? Okay, to get logged into our class, go to Clever. This is if you are not already in our class. Go to Clever Canvas. Find our class. Modules. I'm going to scroll to Scratch, and there's right here a how to log in to Scratch. And when you click on that, it's going to give you a link for our class period. I don't know why Click Create even did those. They don't do Scratch, but yeah, so click on that link and it'll walk you through how to log in. So for the rest of us, our intro today, we're doing XY grid.
Oh, we're going to Kansas.
No, you don't have to. So our outcomes today are that you can explore sprite movement with XY coordinates and you can distinguish between set and change code. That's what we're going to look at.
Stephanie.
This is our Steph Curry. This is our first kind of intro video here. And the questions that we're looking for in this video are, why does Steph Curry think that the opportunities are endless for people getting into computer science? And then why does Steph Curry believe it's extremely important to have perseverance when learning new skills? So I'm going to, this is about a minute and a half, so watch this thinking about those two questions.
My name is Stephen Curry, and I play point guard for the Golden State Warriors. The value in learning computer science is pretty evident, just how important tech is in our world.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Definitely. But, okay.
We have the play the fruit salad piano.
Play the fruit salad. Okay.
Pick anyone of the fruit.
Just touch the fruit. Anyone else?
I mean, the opportunities are endless for somebody who's just getting into computer science because that's their job that's in high demand right now. If you want to create and you want to be a visionary and type, then you're probably going to be in tech space trying to do that. It's extremely important to have perseverance when you're learning new skills because anything that's worth doing usually doesn't come easy, and knowing that in the end it will pay off.
Oh, that's it right there. You know, I'm an amateur coder. Seriously.
It's a cool experience to kind of get in front of the computer and test my skills a little bit.
No way. Did I just code a line? Come on, dinosaur. Thank you.
Go beyond the hour of code. Pledge to bring computer science to your school.
All right, so why does Steph Curry think the opportunities are endless for people getting into computer science? Yes?
Because that job's in high demand.
Those jobs are in high demand. We saw on code.org with the lady who did the Illuminati, remember, the dance choreographer? She was actually coding the lights on the people. So as they moved their arms, the lights were flashing, but they were being coded to do that. Granted, they were moving their arms like this anyway, but the fact they were blinking, flashing, what the lights were doing was all part of code. So computer science is one of those fields that goes into every other field because it's making people where they can work smarter, not harder. What about why does Steph Curry believe it's extremely important to have perseverance when learning new skills?
Most stuff like that is like that.
Or does it come easy?
It doesn't. Anything worth doing is not easy a lot of times. Steph Curry, there's some YouTube videos on him that talks about just his character, and think about this. If you're on a sports team and you go to practice every day with your team and you don't ever do anything extra, you don't ever practice on your own, you're going to progress along with everybody else on your team. When you've got one person that really stands out, I'm sure natural ability comes into it, but that person's practicing even more. Steph Curry talks about how after his basketball practices, he'll set a personal goal. Like, okay, before I leave, I'm going to make 40 free throws. I don't know. Or whatever it might be. He sets a goal, and he said practice may be over at 3. Maybe I don't leave till 9. If he doesn't hit his goal of whatever it is, he doesn't leave. So it's setting a bar of excellence for yourself and then rising to that. With code, having perseverance. How many of you have done a code like a level and you're, oh, it's too hard, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore.
Challenge puzzle.
Yeah, you get frustrated with it. And what he's saying with perseverance is stick with it. And I'm hoping that's why we started out with code level 1, and which was really easy for some of y'all, and y'all blew through it. But it's a scaffolding thing, meaning it's going to start you here and we're slowly going to get better. So on Scratch, everybody's on sees themselves logged in, right? Did you get logged in? Okay, good deal. Let's click create.
Get that notification. Create. Oh.
All right, so what we're going to look at today is X and Y grid, because we're really going to need that for what our activity is tomorrow. So everyone look at the bottom where it says backdrop. Bottom right corner. Click on backdrop. And I want you to search for X, Y, just X, Y. If you type in X, Y, it pulls these up. We want to select the second one that says X, Y grid. So let's select that one.
I got it.
You're going to click on backdrops. Please stop. Okay. Please stop.
What are we doing?
Okay, I'm going to explain it one more time, and I want everybody sitting up. Sit up, everybody, so you're looking this way. There's no reason you can't get this when I'm doing it for you up here. I'm not even just telling you. I'm telling you and doing. So there's no reason you cannot follow along at all. Okay, I'm going to do it again. And when I do up here, I need you paying attention. So what we did, we went to backdrops. Did a search for XY. And we're going to click on the second one. First thing, we've got our sprite here, and it's really he's really rather large. So where it says size, we've got him at 100. Let's change that to maybe like 50. We don't need him to be quite that big. Okay, so that'll change him and make him smaller, where we change size down at the bottom. So first thing I want y'all to do is pull out a move 10 steps block. So when you pull out blocks, we don't have a when green flag is clicked. We're not going to use those today. But if you click on the move 10 steps, he'll start moving 10 steps. If you just click on he's going to move in the direction he's pointing. So he's moving to the right, he's pointing to the right. If we go to move 10 steps and change that to -10, just click on it and change it to -10. What happens when you click on it?
He goes backwards.
He goes backwards. So in Scratch, positive's going to move forward, negative will move backwards. Let's look at, let's scroll down and do set, find the set X2 block. Set X2. So from here, which way's X again? This way. So if we set X to, say, 200, let's set X to 200. And we click on this. He jumps to 200. So set X to 200. And even if you drag him, if you put him, say, up here, it doesn't matter. You set X to 200 and he's going to 200. So try that and see if,
It doesn't do the negative 10 steps now.
no, it does not, because we do not have an event block telling them to do both of them. It's only doing what we're clicking on. Now, if we put an event block and put them both, all right, let's do the set Y. Let's drag out the set Y this time. We've set X to 200. We've got Y to 129. So I'm going to do negative 100 on Y. So do y'all see that where you've got the set X to a certain, it doesn't matter where they are on the screen, they're going to that X coordinate. So does that work for everyone? Set X to 200, set Y to 200. All right, let's pull a, what about this one? Go to X and Y. Find that block. It says go to. So on that one, if we put in 50 and 50, and I click on it, it's doing the X and the Y at the same time. It's going to X 50 and Y 50. Because if you'll notice on the X-axis, you've got your positives going to the left, negatives going to the right, positives going up on the Y, and negatives going down on the Y-axis. So is everybody good with these set blocks? Okay, let's look at look at this change block. Change X by 10 and change Y by 10. What do you notice when you click on those? It could go up if you've got your change Y by 10.
Will they go this way? Right.
Okay, what if you make them both negative? What happens? You do negative 10 or negative, okay. So if you've got it positive, it's going right, negative's going left, or it's going right or up or left and down. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on the, what do you notice? What's the difference between, one of our outcomes today is distinguish between the set and the change blocks. That's one of our outcomes. So what's the big difference between the set and change blocks? Think about that for a second. You know? The set what? Okay, I think that's one of the reasons. Yes, the set block will allow you to jump to a new
Yeah,
location
it'll just go straight to it.
versus the change.
Yeah.
Which one needs to know your original position?
Set.
Change.
Who thinks set? Who thinks change? Okay. If I'm right here and I set X to 200, I go there. If I'm right here and I do set X to 200, you're still going on the on this 200. Change is changing your original position by 10. So wherever you are originally, well, it's changing it by whatever, however much you say. But on this one, it has to know my original position because it's taking my original position and taking away 10. Or if it was 100, it would be taking my original position, adding 100. So the change blocks need to know where you're starting from. And they're going to go from there. Whereas the set blocks will take you anywhere on the screen. All right, one more. Let's look at this block next. Glide 1 second to. So let's put 100, 100. I'm going to change instead of 1 second, 3 seconds. Now when I click that, it kind of floats or glides to the position. It doesn't go directly there. So if we do negative 200 and 150, and we glide.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
They're really slow.
yeah. And you can change how many seconds you do for it to glide. What I want y'all to do now is take a few minutes. I want you to set it up where your sprite glides to all 4 corners. I want you to just think about it for a minute. I want this sprite to glide to here. I want him to glide to here. It doesn't have to be in this order, but I want him to glide to each corner. Not just go there, but glide. So take a minute, think about that. Get your code where he will glide to those 4 corners.
We do
That was just like,
slide. Can we do the event?
You can just do it like this. Yes.
Can we take all the other ones out?
If you want to, I will give you this tip about Scratch. You know, on code.org, all of your code lines up neatly in a line. The way this is now, if you want this kind of lined up, if you right click on this workspace, and that's doing 2 fingers in the bottom of your trackpad, you have an option to clean up blocks. And if you click on that, it'll get them back in line for you. If that bothers you.
Wait, what are you doing?
you gotta double okay.
If you've got blocks everywhere and you right click on this screen, you can click clean up blocks and it'll get them all in line for you.
Okay, is it illegal if you just do this and then we just put our mouse there and it just have it glide to the mouse? No, yeah, right.
Well, I'm wanting y'all to do X, Y coordinates today.
Right.
That would be the smarter, not harder, if we weren't practicing X, Y coordinates.
Oh yeah, I won $300 on Coinbase.
All right, so right now everybody is doing their glide to each corner. We're going to walk through how to turn this in just a second.
I got it.
Just raise your hand if you need help.
Okay.
It does not matter how long they glide for. That's up to you.
Mine's glitching and it's not gliding.
It is negative.
I'm not gliding, man.
That's your coordinates.
200.
Yeah, you working on it?
Oh, I already did it, but it's not working.
Raise your hand, I can help.
Click on it. Oh, it's doing it. It hasn't done it now.
You don't have to look, you don't even have the Y coordinate, an X coordinate. Wait.
I thought.
Okay. And now you just need a few more of those blocks to make it do the other, around the other corners. All right, anyone have questions?
This is not right. Okay.
I'll tell you, the easiest if you start with 4 glide, go ahead and pull out 4 of these is how I would start, because you know you've got 4 corners. I would start like that. Did you get it? Good. You know you've got 4 corners. The easiest way, guys, is do you notice as you move this sprite around on the screen, his coordinates change down here and it tells you exactly where he is. So if you want him to go here, that's negative 218 and 161. Well, that's where you want him to glide to. That's what I'd put in the first one. And then you drag him over to the next corner. You get his current coordinates again.
Can you come look at mine?
Yeah.
See if it's good.
Yeah, mine is 30.
If you just drag one out and put it where drag the cat or whatever spray is, where it is, it does exactly what you want.
Yes, absolutely. That's good.
Work.
How do I turn it in?
And we'll walk back through that in just a second.
I want to use the color there.
All right, did everybody figure it out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those of you that still have questions, watch. Do you have 4 glide blocks?
Yeah.
Okay. If you drag this sprite to this corner of your screen, look right here, look at the coordinates, whatever that is, and that's what you put in your first block. So that's what you're gonna put in your first glide block, because that's where you want it to glide to.
What about the first bubble?
This is just how long it takes them to get to that corner. You can have it 1 second, 3 seconds, however long you want it to be. So that's your first coordinates. When you drag the sprite to the top right,
Okay.
I've got new coordinates down here. That's my second glide block.
It's not living. Oh.
No, Mr. Bear. I got the wrong. Can get Chick-fil-A.
Everything started from scratch.
Oh, what do we title it?
Got it.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you in just a
Got
second.
it. Go. Doesn't need to go back to where it started.
It's fine. All right, are y'all ready to turn in?
Oh, I did it.
Okay, good job. This is how we're going to turn in. Just like before where it says Untitled 2, if you'll please just title that XY grid.
Where did it
It
say?
says
T?
entitled.
For your project name.
It didn't pop up.
You're not signed in.
Oh. Okay.
If you don't see
There
the
we
place to do a title name, you're probably not signed in. So make sure that you're signed in over here. All right, XY grid.
I bet you won't put me in.
All right, so once you get XY grid, let's click share. And if you'll remember when you click on the orange share button, it'll take you to the project page. And this is where we have to tell people how to make our project work, how to use our project. Normally, we've been typing in there, click on the sprite, click the green flag. This time, we're just gonna put to click on the code because we didn't do an event block. So I just typed in click on the code. And then we're going to scroll down to the bottom where it says add to studio. And when you click on add to studio, make sure that you find the one that says lesson 3 XY grid. Click the plus beside it and then click OK. So one of the reasons we did so much with the XY grid today, and we'll show you for tomorrow's lesson. When I was growing up, we had paper dolls. Basically, it was like a
Oh, as if you cut it out. Hey. Oh.
yes, our paper doll would be like we would have a paper doll. Let me keep this actually. We would have an actual like cutout of a doll that had like it would be able to kind of stand up like this, and then we would have paper clothes. Like this might be a skirt that they had that you would wrap around it to change all the different outfits that it had. It was a thing. So what y'all are gonna do today that's similar to that, or tomorrow actually.
Oh.
There'll be 3 different projects you'll be able to pick from. So what you'll do with whatever project you pick from, you'll have to click on the articles of clothing. They're gonna glide to him. I don't know
Oh,
why.
that's a boy?
I don't know why it has 2 Christmas
Oh, that's
trees.
a boy?
It doesn't matter who it is. So you have your shirt, bow tie.
Oh, yeah, it's a boy.
Hey guys, please, enough. It's a boy, girl. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, okay? Are we over that? Are we over the initial so we can pay attention? I'll show you again. You're going to click on each one. They're going to glide to him, each article of clothing.
Oh.
Then, when it's done, you're going to click the green flag, and they're all going to go back to their original position. You'll have 3 different projects you'll be able to choose from. Each one kind of has different articles of clothing that you can choose from. So what this is going to work on is what we just did, where they have to glide to a certain position. And then go immediately back to where they started from. So that's what we're going to work on a little bit tomorrow. So our reflection today, or just question for you to think about, is how is the XY grid used in coding? Yes.
My thing is still loaded.
So how is the XY grid used in coding? Because you've used it in math and science.
So it took me to the sign-in page and it was logging in, but I typed in my school password like I normally do for everything.